All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. And check out Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. We're also brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. Give Anthony Catania a call. He's at 831-521-5264. They're located in Monterey for all your sports collectible needs. All right, the 49ers making news overnight, signing veteran linebacker Eric Kendricks. And you say, wow, that name sounds so familiar. Well, Eric Kendricks has been one of the NFL's better linebackers. He's also a Bay Area kid. I believe he went to O'Dowd, and then he, of course, went to UCLA. His brother, Michael Kendricks, starred for the Cal Bears. It's a football family for sure, and they're Bay Area guys. So Kendricks, who's 6 feet, about 235 pounds, comes to the 49ers. And, it was first reported by Adam Schefter. It's a 1-year deal. And the Niners have now found their third linebacker as Kendricks is likely going to serve as the replacement for Oren Burks. Burks at free agency earlier in the week, and he's expected to move on. Kendricks at this point is 32, and he's going to be kind of the short-term replacement for Dre Greenlaw. The Niners had talked about Levante David as well, but he re-signed with Tampa. But they've got a temporary need, let's say, at linebacker, because Dre Greenlaw tore his Achilles during the Super Bowl, and he's currently rehabbing the injury, and we don't really know when Greenlaw is going to be ready to roll. I mean, the injury was suffered in second week in February, and it used to be a career ender. Then it was a for sure year-long deal. Well, if it's a year-long deal, then he's out for the entire season. There's been talk that he'll be ready to go earlier because he's a quick healer. But I mean, I think you got to be realistic when you're talking about a ruptured Achilles tendon. This guy's career is hanging in the balance here, and the last thing he wants to do is rush back. So, as a member of the Chargers last season, Eric Kendricks was the team captain, and he had 117 tackles. That was second on the entire team. He only played in 15 games, so he's a very productive player. He also added 3.5 sacks, a forced fumble. He broke up 6 passes. He reunites with Brandon Staley. This is the other question we were talking about a few weeks ago. Who was Staley going to bring with him into the fold? Well, it looks like Leonard Floyd and Kendricks. And Kendricks and Staley were together this past year with the Chargers. And the Chargers ultimately released, Kendricks because he was, they're hugged up against the cap. And doing so helped them save $6 million in cap space. This guy was once as good a linebacker as there was in the league. I mean, he was an all-pro. He's been a multiple-time Pro Bowler. He's now on his third team. He spent his first 8 years in Minnesota and then last season with the Chargers. So, this is, to me, I think this is a really nice pickup. Why? I mean, would you like to have Azeez Al-Shaair? Yeah. But Azeez Al-Shaair was going to be a multi-year situation at big money. So then you're thinking, okay, well, do you want Greenlaw to be your guy long-term? And I think they do. And also, I think there's a very good chance they draft a linebacker, but they just wanted a veteran, 1-year stopgap guy. And then they'll probably fill in with Graham and Winters and whatever linebacker they draft this April. But, if you look at Kendricks coming out of UCLA, I mean, he was a 4.6 40 guy, 1.57 10-yard split, 38-inch vertical, 10.4 broad jump, 19 reps on the bench. He was an outstanding athletic prospect coming out. And sure enough, he's always been viewed as an intelligent, leader. He's a guy who makes a lot of tackles. He's got high football character. He's been incredibly productive. He plays the game with tons of desire. He's got plus instincts across the board against run and pass. His athleticism is, makes him go. He can play outside in a 4-3. He could play inside in a 3-4. I mean, Kendricks is versatile. He's scheme versatile. He's an intelligent player, and he's a confident downhill, attacking mindset linebacker. He's got pretty good feet. He'll run and chase, he'll play sideline to sideline. What I like about him is he diagnoses correctly and quickly. So it's hard to fool this guy. He's seen it all. He's a veteran at this point. He's always around the ball, and he attacks the run fits, and he does a good job of staying away from blockers and basically just eluding them more than just taking them on and disengaging. They have a hard time hitting him in space. His change of direction's really, really good. He's very aware in zone. He makes plays on the ball. So they always thought, hey, what, this guy could put more weight on. And really the league has come back to him. When he came out, he was like 230 pounds, and people were like, oh yeah, but he needs to be 250. Well, now here we are years later, and the linebacker position has changed, and it's much more of a speed related game. And I just think it kind of fits to his ideal weight. When he's playing, his ideal weight's about 235, 240. And, that's, if anything, the Niners like their guys in that 225 to 235 range. And he might be able to drop a few pounds and get to, an extra step and be that much faster. So he's a good football player for sure. He's got high production, high character. They were worried about his size, but he's proven in the years in the NFL that, you can put him at the will in the weak outside linebacker spot. He can play a stack backer spot and be plenty physical enough. So I like it. I think overall it's a good move, and it gives the Niners a veteran 1-year stopgap. Now they've got Fred Warner, they've got Kendricks, they've got Greenlaw coming back probably at the end of the year or next year. You got year 2 of Jalen Graham, year 2 of D. Winters. This is a very good linebacker draft. I think that there's a incredible opportunity in this draft to draft a really, really good linebacker in late on day 2. I mean, every mock draft that I'm looking at has Darius Muasau from UCLA. They're late. The Mississippi State SEC, all SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He's there late. The kid from Florida State who runs like the wind. He's there late. So I mean, you look at some of the options that could be available in the draft as far as speed options to complement this pick. You can see it. I mean, there's guys here. I mean, I love Cedric Gray. I think he's one of the best linebackers I've seen in years. But if you get to day 3, Nathaniel Watson from Mississippi State, as I said, SEC Defensive Player of the Year. The Ulofoshio for Washington is one of the fastest linebackers in football. He's supposed to be a day 3 guy. Darius Muasau, 6'1", 230 from UCLA. This guy looked awesome in the All-Star games. He was just smacking everybody, and he's piled up big tackle totals. The Niners have showing some interest in him. He's supposedly going to be there, late on day 2. Mayema Nanjameta for Wisconsin. He's a little on the short side at 6 feet, 240, but they're thinking he's going to be there, late on day 3. So, I mean, there's there's more than that even. I mean, if you look at some of these guys, Aaron Casey from Indiana, John Trey Hunter from Georgia State, good football player. There's really a bunch. Kalen DeLoach is the guy that I was thinking about from Florida State. He's 6 feet. He's 212 pounds, redshirt senior, but he's projected to go, maybe in the 7th round. That guy flies and makes plays and is going to be an outstanding NFL linebacker. Aaron Casey from Indiana is a solid backer. So there's a bunch of linebackers in this draft. And I think if you get one young guy out of the draft and you get Kendricks, you're fortified for this year with what you have coming back, and obviously Fred Warner. And then you see where Dre Greenlaw is in a year. You look up and you see if Dre's ready to roll. Anyway, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the sponsor of the Krug Show, and thanks to Marin Auto Glass as well. 415-883-3030, marinautoglass.com on the web. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.